friends, it's Paul here. We're going to cover backups today. Computer backups. Now we'll go straight into this tutorial. Click on your Start button, Control Panel, and the list that comes up. If it's not like this, it'll probably come up as categories. If it does that, then I would recommend for now we just set it to large or small icons. Larger will be, there we go. We can all see that now. And you've got the option to back up and restore. If you click on that, up comes this screen. And it's Control Panel, all Control Panel items, back up and restore. Now if you're like me and you don't like burrowing around in the menus, you can always type in the word backup in the search bar under Windows Start menu, and as soon as you start typing it, it will try and populate with what it thinks is correct. You've got backup and restore, or back up your computer. I would just click on the first one and it takes you straight to it. Now typically those who have a new computer won't see 3 items here. You'll see just 2, create a system disk and create a system repair disk. Both of these are important, and if you've got a new computer, my recommendation is you go out and buy at least 2, possibly 3 external backups and put them aside, labeled, to handle your backups of your computer. The first thing you want to do is create a system image. A repair disk you can create anytime, but we'll cover that briefly in a minute. Creating a system image, click on it, and oops, went off screen. There we go. I have a drive attached called Formatted H. It's not very big and it probably won't handle everything I've got here, but it's just online just to show what we're going to do. And when you click Next, it'll give you the options of what it is you're trying to save, and you just check each one and then you hit Next, and then it will start the backup. It's telling me I don't have enough space. Yeah, I know, it's an old drive I've just attached to the computer for this tutorial. Okay, the system image, once it's done, can be restored using the repair disk. The repair disk is simply going to create a CD, and it went off screen again. And so hopefully if you've got a DVD drive, pop a CD in there. You don't need a DVD, just a CD, and then create the disk, and about a minute or 2 later it'll pop it out, label it, and keep it with your system image. It's also best to back up your data. Now you've created a system image, but now you want to start a schedule off that will create data backups. Everything's going to another screen. That'll teach me to have more than one screen. Okay, trying it back on. Now it's giving me all the devices it thinks it can store it to, and I'm choosing that one. It's not going to, yeah, it says it may not have enough space. It depends on what I want to save, but yes, it may not have enough space. Click Next, and there's 2 options here, let Windows choose or let me choose. I'm a little doubtful as to what Windows will choose on your behalf, so I tend to take control, and I've selected let me choose. It shows me what I'm going to be backing up. It's going to retrieve the items and put them all up. So all the data files, it's chosen all the accounts that it knows exist on the computer. In my case, I've actually rerouted all those accounts to the data RAID drive, so they're not actually on the C drive, they're on the E drive, and it's automatically clicked users for me. So it's kind of smart in that way. But the whole of the C disk is clicked, all these accounts are clicked. You can click and check anything here that you want. The important thing is to include a system image from the C drive, so make sure that's checked. Then click Next. So that's what it's listed as it's going to save. At this point you can save the settings and run the backup. So just be warned, when it will save the settings and it will run the backup right away. So if you want to be doing other things and they're intensive, like videos or the like, you may want to do this when you've got time, late in the night perhaps. One more thing to change is the schedule. How often, what day if necessary, and what time. And then make sure this is checked. Run the backup on the schedule that we've selected. So daily, weekly, monthly. and of course any time of the day or night. I typically run mine about 8 or 9 in the evening daily. If you click OK, it'll store that information. There it is. And if you save, it will start it off. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have enough space on this external drive, so we'll just cancel out of that. My schedule's already set up. Now be warned, Windows 7 does not give you the option to back up to different drives. Each time you change the drive out, you have to go in and change the settings, point it to a different backup drive, save the settings and run the backup. Now you might want to leave that drive attached for a week or so to gather some information and store the original drive off-site somewhere at a friend's or at a safe location where it's a lockup or something like that. Some people are using the cloud these days. There's pros and cons to that. If you're an accountant and you want to be backing up your data, you may want to check with CRA on that because there are rules about keeping data inside your country's borders in some places. Now once you've got all these backups in place and you've been reliably doing this, you can also recover some files if you've lost them. I've had calls from people in the past who've accidentally deleted files, and sometimes they've just accidentally grabbed it and dragged and dropped it somewhere else, but sometimes they've deleted it or they've had somebody else on their computer who is also and that has access, and they've deleted a file by mistake. There's a couple of ways to restore a file if it's just recently. You can use one of your backups, or you can do something a little sneaky. Windows also has something else built in. I'm just going to show you here on this temp folder. If I right click on it and go to the properties, and there's various ways to get to the properties, but this is the way I favor. You'll see there's multiple tabs here, and the one to take note of is previous versions. Now I believe it's active as a default on Windows 7 and beyond. If you notice, it's taken copies of the temp folder going back some time. About 2 months, 3 months. So if you've just realized the file's gone and it's not been too long, you should be able to just click on one of these folders and recover the file. Now if I wouldn't do restore, because restore will simply overwrite your existing temp folder, whatever folder it is, blowing away whatever's there. My suggestion is you open, and it will then prompt you in the address bar exactly what you're looking at, and then you can drag and drop these files to a safe location like your desktop or another newly created folder, rather than hit the restore button, because you then can do a comparison to the folders and things like that to see what's to be recovered. That's a little aside there. There's hopefully you'll never encounter this, but once you've recreated your system repair disk and your system image, you're set to go if something disastrous happens. Keep them all current, the backups current, and then you can use these options down here to restore your computer if it fails. And I think that just about covers it for now. Hopefully you don't ever hit this scenario where you have your disk drive not power up one day, as a lot of people have had, unfortunately, but we'll try and reduce that with this tutorial.